You're about to watch a podcast, so feel free to completely ignore the video that will be playing next to it. We had quite the conversation, and I didn't want to stop people midway, so I just let the introduction slip. Because of that, let me introduce you to the people that will be talking in the video. Here is an example of Ellie's, my guildie's voice.
Well,
Here is an example of Anarbus, another guildie of mine, voice.
We're quite disappointed because guy just ran out on them.
And here's an example of Quasaros, the Patreon subscribers of mine, voice.
It's a hit or miss gambling.
I'm the only female in the group, so I should be fairly easy to recognize. We jumped from topic to topic, but we mostly wanted to discuss the whole state of MMO industry and the future of MMOs and what we would like and have desired from the genre and what we would like to see, but it is how it is. So if you have any thoughts about this, please feel free to leave them in the comments. Otherwise, enjoy four fools blabbering about a subject they're passionate about.
I still think that the biggest difference in the right now and the past was that before MMO genre, before the actual World of Warcraft and this kind of huge boom of this industry, the games were polished a lot more to be appealing for the players. Right now, developers pushing out games for fast and easy profit. That's the main difference why this quality is going down and downwards, and because of that you can't anymore make a subscription game because you don't meet the required quality.
Do you actually remember some of the super old games that were super shit and magazines were covering
Tibia.
them up?
Tibia,
All are free to
Run
play.
Escape.
All of them are free to play, to be honest. Anything that was free to play was shit.
Yeah, but considering the amount of games at that time and now, it's like maybe one game a year. Now it's like 5 up to 10 games that actually is really bad, and maybe you hopefully get one game that is useful.
Not really. There's a reason why the market crashed multiple times. And some of it was the console market crashing from nothing but shit being put out all the time. Especially at the times of, for example, E.T. And there was one driving game that very notoriously got covered up by all of the magazines going, oh, it's perfectly fine, while in reality it was completely unplayable. And nobody would refund people because internet wasn't a thing.
Yeah. Well, what we should ask ourselves, what makes a game different? Like, what makes solo games different from MMOs? Because as I see, the solo games are like instant. They invest some money and they want to get that money back, and they expect that the money will just, it was like one big claim. But what they want with MMOs is that constant flow of money into their pockets.
It's
And
because
they are looking of different ways to do that, and it's not only because they need money for the development, it's money because money.
well, first of all, MMO investment up front would be several hundred million. Solo game investment up front is
Yes.
so much less.
Well, it's a different because, I'm sorry. It's like
No,
in
go
the
ahead.
early 2000s, like, you wouldn't get any of those good fundraising or Kickstarter like we do right now. So back then it was a very niche studios that can make at least, let's say, a quality level MMOs. Like let's say EverQuest and Warcraft, these were from big studios and they built upon it for a whole decade at least. Nowadays, if you try to mimic that to the market, you would require several hundreds from being a Kickstarter or a fundraiser. So this thing, I think it's very rare to bring in now. And I would say before it was like a golden age of MMOs, if you know right.
Even
Yeah.
then, like World of Warcraft and EverQuest were stupidly broken at times. Like World of Warcraft servers couldn't handle the people. There were times when people couldn't
Yeah.
load into the zones, and
Yes, but it
People
was
still-
expectation has grown a lot.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And still it kept going every year, kept going, hemorrhaging their subscription, then they kept bringing it back. You can imagine how it was like back in 2004 and something like that. Yeah, it has its ups and downs, then slowly it kept the rate of subscription at least 2 million a year.
it's like if you brought out World of Warcraft right now, people wouldn't go for it. They would go, it's for the starters, too broken. Like the developers wouldn't actually have the chance to fix it. The
It's
first
like meh, it's like you have this weird feeling about it. Say, yeah, it's old, but people still playing it. It's like Pokemon Go, and now it's being released, and everyone's like, all people are playing Pokemon Go, and the new generation they have no idea what's going on. But we know it's
Yeah.
shitty right now. So
Actually, the Pokemon Go is really a good example what is going to sell.
of course,
Problem with right now is that all the MMOs are stuck in one frame. There is not many revolutionary ideas. Most of the games have same kind of like framework. So it means that people are more picky about things they have already seen and they expect more. So to be a successful or the future, you should somehow manage to come out with something revolutionary.
I
yes.
I expect the genre to die down massively before it picks up again. Reason being, if you're smart, you will not do revolutionary ideas because it's a few 100 million. If it doesn't work out, that's it. That's your bankrupt right there, and that's the rest of your life. Have fun with your garbage bin, your food out of the streets. But the thing is, without anything revolutionary, the players will get bored, meaning less and less of stuff will get bought either way, until eventually the teams will go, it doesn't pay out to actually make an MMO until somebody attempts it again.
I think some reason in the past people took these kind of risks, and right now just people don't want to take those
No,
risks.
it's like they have this time. We're going to make MMO, and we will have that little different thing that will make this special. But it's usually doesn't work with them.
It's
There are several attempts, and if you see the Chinese market, they have like shit ton of really crappy MMOs.
it's because when you approach your investor, you go, I need several 100 million, and they go, okay, why? Do your
Obviously.
market research. And they go, okay, this is something that you have not seen in the market before. And their answer normally is, why would I risk 200 million?
That's why only companies like Blizzard, Square Enix are able to try stuff like that out, because they have budget for that. And no small company can make a good enough MMO to satisfy customers. It doesn't work like with indie games.
Even if they make an MMO, even if they like spend 10 years and actually make it, after the first few months, people will go, okay, where's our updates? What's next? And then
Yes.
guys go, okay, there's 5 of us here. We can't deliver. And people go, well, why would we stick with your product then?
Yeah, that
Yes.
was one thing you actually said, that MMO development is more costly than the single player game. Then I think in the early stage when the games are built up, their cost is actually the same, but lifetime cost of MMO is a lot higher than
Yes.
any single MMO,
But-
single player game.
There are a couple of games that succeeded in that. I don't know if everyone of you that know Path of Exile. It started like a little project, few people, and now it's like really good game, and it has constant updates. It's updates every few weeks with real content, real updates, and they dish out content like they're met.
It's like I know a lot of games in that style, but I don't consider them MMOs, even though on a scale they kind of are. Mostly because it's sort of Diablo multiplayer. Because you're not gonna be really meeting that many people on the outside. You're gonna be like, okay, this is my 2 or 3 friends, and we're going through the game.
Yeah, if it's
True,
hosted on
true.
a server, yeah, that's considered an MMO-esque. Then again, games will not, let's say MMOs will not succeed if the community will not like it, you know?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're making something that doesn't require a lot of people, the expectation will be kind of different. If you enter an open world and you literally see nobody in an MMO, you go, okay, this game's dead. If you enter something like Path of Exile, you go, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's a single-player experience in an MMO game. It's like the secret world approach to content for the story itself. Like you can play the whole main story by yourself. You don't need to interact with other people except like doing dungeons together and whatnot, which is fairly optional until like at the end of each large region. So how the secret world were okay in the beginning of their fame, then they like diminished quickly after a couple of months, and they kept throwing DLCs over DLCs over DLCs. That everyone
Secret
gets tired
World,
of it.
Secret World was a really good project actually. The story, what is really important in MMOs, is really good.
Yeah,
The
that's the issue. Yeah, that's the issue.
problem was most likely their fundings or they will to risk it run out at some point.
The way that I see it, Secret World was built to be a single player game, and then EA turned around and said, actually, we want an MMO. And they did the reverse with Kingdoms of Amalur, and it does show a lot. Because you enter Secret World and you go, oh, the story and the characters, and damn it, I wish this was single player, but then you exit it. You exit into the world, and mobs have like upped health and require quite a lot of time to kill, and they're adding like in excuses for it to be multiplayer when really it would have been a brilliant single player experience.
True. That's the beauty of some MMOs. You can enjoy a single, like you can enjoy a single idea and emphasize, like focus on it very much. Then you will be slowly thinking, where are the rest of the core games that we used to?
It's
I'm
like,
like this with all my MMOs. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna focus on playing solo and see how far I can go without interacting with someone else. Then I realized at the end of every 20 level, I'm like done from the game. Every single, even like um, Final Fantasy 14, I was guildless for the first 20 levels, and I kind of wished I kind of wished I would give up. Then I realized that there are actual active guilds within that server I'm in. And so for some reason I got quickly involved with the guild events and dungeons, and I kept playing, and you know, it's all player experience first and foremost.
Is what people enjoy is like interacting world with having like real input into the world, and such MMOs has like degree of success. One of the main examples of that is EVE Online or even Warframe.
Oh, Warframe. I don't want to bring a topic about Warframe now because it's
EVE Online's success is its uniqueness. Actually, there is no competitive game at the time it came into the field, and all the catch-uppers haven't really managed it.
I do hope that the industry isn't heading towards games like Eve or Warframe because it's a non-stop PvP game with taking over territories.
Warframe is mostly PvE.
yeah, it's PVE, but lobby-based games like
Yes,
Diablo,
indeed.
but third-person shooter.
It's like I would really like a PvE-based experience with some instanced PvP, not a game that survives off just players fighting each other for the longest time. I would really love to see an MMO with a unique combat system and set in modern times or further, rather than fantasy all the time, because the only competent MMOs that I've seen out right now is fantasy. Or there's a shooter like PlanetSide, where it's just a back and forth PvP all the time.
Phantom Star Online. Fantasy Star, sorry. Fantasy Star Online in Japan is pretty big hit still.
It's
Pretty
not
old
a
game still.
European release though.
Yes. And well, what I want to say is a lot of games right now try to specialize. And for example, Albion Online is like really going for the PvP. Crowfall project is going for PvP as well. So there is a lot of stuff going for the PvP for one single reason. In these last few years, the esports scene went like huge. It's got really popular. It's got the market, and a lot of people are trying to get the games into that like honeypot.
It makes it easier as well. You pretty much don't have to do anything with a sandbox-based PvP game.
You see very really well where this esport idea went with the Blade and Soul. So it has its failures as well.
And the problem with PvE oriented game, Marta, is the amount of development required.
Well, obvious. Hence why a lot of companies can't pull through. The companies that do pull through go for something safe. For example, I was following World of Darkness once that project was still alive for years because it was supposed to be a
I think it's coming back
vampire-based
online.
MMO, and then EVE Online developers were like, it isn't worth the money spent, therefore we're scrapping the project. And some other company took them to court just to get the license out of their hands because they were gonna just keep it, meaning no more Vampire the Masquerade games entirely. But now that they released the license, whatever's gonna come out likely not gonna be an MMO.
Yeah, another just hack and slash, whatever MOBA thing you're gonna do. It's all about follow the market needs. You will not care about the player actual interest in MMOs in any ways, unless it have an MOBA-esque something to it.
What is something that I'm really looking forward is the development of VR, because there is a potential for really fun MMOs there.
I would if it was
I
real
don't think-
VR.
I don't think VR will work
I'm
on
not
MMOs.
saying
What
it's
is real
right now.
VR, Merta?
Yes.
What is a real VR?
What I mean by it is the technology's improving, and at some point we will be able to translate us raising our hand in real life to raising the hand in game, except just through the brain signal without actually moving body parts. At some point we're gonna be there. At the moment we're at screen on head kind of level, which honestly for me just feels really nauseating. Like,
Wow.
I can't use the technology because it makes me motion sick.
Yes, but
Well, of course.
it's Marta, it's there. few years back, we didn't think that it would be possible in any time soon, and
It,
as is with any technology, it's going to accelerate.
the thing is, it was there in what, the 80s. It's an old idea taken and revisited.
Yes, and they're going for that. Then you have the HoloLens as well.
HoloLens. I think the closest we can get to augmented reality now is Pokemon Go.
It's more like not going to reality, virtual reality, just taking virtual reality into our own world.
Reality enchantment.
I
Yes.
I find the whole Pokemon Go thing a little bit like Wii U. Like people go, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get people on the streets and we're gonna get them moving." But
You mean like Connect to
It
Move?
works, Meta,
Connect
it
and Move.
works.
the thing is, majority of people playing Pokemon Go were people on the move already and not actual computer gamers.
All people per se, like people in their late 20s, like the first gen Pokemon fans, let's say, yeah.
Or the
But
ones
will
that were like following the franchise because it's important to them to do it with every single game that comes out. But
well, of course.
I kind of see it the same way as VU. It's gonna come in and it's gonna find its niche like real reality games because that is a thing. RPG games in real life is a thing and it has their own thing. Or it's gonna be a fad and it's gonna go away. But I don't think that it will go to mainstream and replace computer gaming.
Of course not. The good thing about MMOs is that it's still been there. It will never be gone. It will have different elements to it. Like MMOs will be like FPS or flight sims or action based, but the whole MMO idea it will be there. Like I mean, currently right now I've stopped playing all MMORPGs since like I've quit Final Fantasy 14, let's say. Then I moved into a game called Elite Dangerous back in March 2015, and ever since then, was my sole MMO game until like last week. And I said, okay, I'm gonna take a break from this game. It's too addicting to me. So back then, the game, how it started, it was half baked, let's say. It lacked lots of elements you would get from an MMO. It's like it's a flight sim, so closer to games like X-wings and TIE fighters and stuff like that. And but in an online server, you have like 1 mega server. And if you ever heard about the game, then you know what I mean.
I will actually be super upset if the industry is at this exact point 10 years from now.
Yeah, the game is half baked, but then you have like a niche community like still playing the game. So I don't know, should I follow the niche community or should I follow the mainstream? Here is my issue.
I don't think that you lose anything either way because mainstream is like 2 or 3 games. Mainstream is really, really small.
Mhm. Mainstream is, let's say, you are forced to follow them if you want to keep your community at bay. You can keep all the people who support you. But a niche player community, then you are still giving risk at not be able to develop the game later on. And with Elite, I realized that the developer will continue developing the game for a span of 10 years based on their like newsletter and whatnot. And they keep like releasing expansion, or let's say season pass every year. So far, like I put around like maybe 900 hours in the game, and that's just like let's say I finished like 50% of the content.
It's like,
So
if they are able to continue, it's fine. Problem with a lot of mainstream MMOs is that They're
They
built.
throw it immediately, right?
It's just that they're built with a big player base in mind, and if they can't get it and they turn into niche, they can't sustain it because they have money to repay. If you never had that problem to begin with, you can continue in a smaller game just fine.
Yeah, like that's how Elite is differ from Star Citizen approach. Like Star Citizen are still in alpha release, and Elite was released back in December 2014, and they kept their amount of player base like 100,000 since then, and they didn't bother about the player base in the game because the way how Elite is built on is they give you the 1-to-1 scale ratio of the Milky Way galaxy. It's like a replica of the whole Milky Way galaxy, and you would be unable to find any player within one system in the game. You would think you would find at least in one popular system or something like that if you want to do some events or whatnot, but that's it. You are like left out in this whole universe. It's up to you to use the tools they are giving to you and explore and enjoy the lore by yourself, for example, because that's how they approach the game. They want to simulate an idea and they don't want to fantasize it too much. So they draw certain demographic to these games. That's what I was actually find Elite fascinating, that they don't force advertisement on you. They don't force constant updates and patches and false promises on you. So if I find something closer to this game, I would give it a try. But nowadays, yeah, I can't find it.
I just can't find anything. Like, I I settled for a reliable game. Reliable as in updates are reliable, the development team is reliable, they're gonna have money. It's not gonna break down. I can be comfortable in this, but I'm no better than people that settle for World of Warcraft really that way. Because it isn't my ideal game, but my ideal game might absolutely never come. Because there's so few MMOs that ever release every year, and for the next few years I can't even pinpoint at one of them and go, oh, this will be interesting. It's to a point where I can't point at it and go, I can get hyped for that. Which is sad.
You need to actually like you do your own experience from blind through, you know. If you followed like advices and whatnot, and you say, okay, come and try this game, come and try this game, it's fun and whatnot, you will be following a false, let's say, like a different perspective for anything, even if it's not for gaming. It's like someone tell you, okay, I recommend this car because it's reliable and whatnot, but then you realize you cannot even comprehend it in the next few months, and you regret buying it, you know. And this is what you need to do. Like I've seen your videos, you play certain games that are not MMOs, and you keep playing it. That's how you can find your niche, you know.
Because with the other games that I play, I would get really lonely because they're very much single player experiences. And with the MMOs, I just had enough of instability. I was in WildStar, I was in Guild Wars 2, I've seen some failures. I've been in several free-to-play titles that I wasn't satisfied for eventually, so I settled for reliable. And I appreciate reliable, but at the same time, even just to move off from reliable to somewhere else, there has to be an interesting idea out there, and there simply isn't. It's kind of like life simulation genre is Sims, and if you don't want Sims, well, sit there for 20 years till somebody else makes it. Because it's just not there, and that's really sad.
I'll tell you, it all bottles down into your personal preference for certain games. Like if you can immerse yourself in a universe with someone else and few people, yeah, I would say keep going with it. You will not regret it. But if you kept like finding and keep looking for promises from other people's, yeah, I can see where you're talking about. This is kind of a problem in the past decade at least.
And it's not even that the MMO industry isn't moving. I can't say that it is at a standstill, even though it feels like it, because minus 10 years, and what do we have? We have World of Warcraft. 10 years forward, we have extra stuff. But it's such a slow progression because obviously we haven't moved off from World of Warcraft controls mainly, as action MMOs were born, but they're still there trying to settle on what works and what doesn't. Limited action skill point MMOs emerged, but once again, it's all so experimental, but at the same time, it's also slow because nobody wants to experiment too much because they're afraid that it's just not gonna work.
They have done it a lot of MMOs, and they have now kind of leaning toward uh, easy genres like MOBAs. You can do this immediately, and you will find a small fan base just emerging and playing it all together. Then they will forget about it. You can't keep a community the same way as it was like 10 years back then.
Yes,
Um,
lately I had chance to play some World of Warcraft, and I remember when it was still vanilla and I played on private servers. The current state of World of Warcraft is like they took a really nice game with some degree of difficulty and made it for retarded children.
wow.
Because it's for the masses. It's because the masses can play.
Yes, the same thing is basically the HOTS. Basically, it's like League of Legends, Dota on easy mode.
The
But
pro-
the thing is, people like easy things. They want to go there and enjoy stuff and feel like they accomplished something. And for
Hmm.
people like us who were like grown up on harder stuff on things like Diablo, like World of Warcraft, like TBM Online, Guild Wars, we are used to challenge, and we are okay with that. People right now are lazy, and that's the fact. They don't
Hmm.
want to give effort to get something.
Well, if you're going through your 40s or 50s, yeah, you want to take a break a little bit from MMOs. But then, yeah, if you have like the feels of coming back to play a certain game, yeah, you can go back and play the core game if they provided it. And I would say there are still some almost non-existing MMOs you have played in the past, and you just play it for the nostalgia, just like when you want to play old console games or whatnot. And this is something it's very personal to be say. You cannot like find enough people to relive your old days and expect to keep doing it for a couple months. There is this game called Anarchy Online.
Yes,
Uh,
it's pretty old game.
Pretty old game. I've been playing it on and off since I played since 2005, and I played on the free-to-play module. And as much as this module was nerfed in many bases, and they will never give us any expansion for the free-to-play, I would still go back and play another character and create a new gameplay for myself, then quit after 2 months. I wouldn't feel like I wasted my time with it. Something about this game, the platform, the game mechanics they built on it is kind of weird because it's so grindy. You cannot do a lot of features that you can do it in new games. So those basic rough mechanics you get from those old game um, kind of entice you to play it again, you know.
Mm,
I would say I've rolled around like I played like around 24 characters in the game since I think since I've started, and I made like maybe 8 accounts because of that. That's how good the game could be for you. Like if you find your
I think
comfort still.
the next uh, good idea for MMO would be like a roleplay intensive game.
Thing is, in
Role
order to
play.
create a roleplay intensive game, you don't do anything.
Role
No,
playing, character creation, lore related stuff,
it, it, it isn't like roleplay intensive. I know a game that became roleplay intensive. Do you remember a game called Ultima Online?
Yes, but I haven't played it.
Yes, basically it was servers were so roleplay intensive. You were mm, you get kicked out from the server if you didn't roleplay, basically.
Also, like Dragon Realms, I think.
Yes, and you had jobs like cartographer, like cook, and you just sat there in your own little space and did your job. And
Hmm.
still, people are still playing that game.
The Ultima Online idea was that it was based on people who played multi-user dungeons. So they used all the ideas they had, and because of that, the game is really like unique. It has I have played the Ultima Online, and it has a lot of mechanics that came into MMOs a lot later. Like housing, you can basically build your own workhouse and so on.
You know,
So
funnily enough, I miss RuneScape.
We
yeah,
all
it
do.
was
We all
like a
do.
RuneScape. Actually, yeah, Ultima Online was like a RuneScape with actual client and good graphics in that time.
Because I don't
I
mean
played Tibia.
today's RuneScape, because today's RuneScape went, let's emulate World of Warcraft. I mean like 2004 RuneScape, where people went all like, this is a game about just leveling things. And
I
it
think we
was a
screw up.
big deal to get your cook to like 99.
Wow. Nowadays, you'll find the same amount of things in the old school RuneScape. If you want to go back and play it, it'll be the same, but the community, not the same community as it was before. There
It
are
would
some.
be fun, like there would be a game like you buy a copy for like 50 euro or dollars, and you get a random character, and you are stuck with that.
I think there's a game like that on Steam, but still on. I don't remember the name.
I think it was Rust, because you got a randomly generated character, but it went as far as even randomly generating your dick size.
Wow, no, that's
I think
wow.
Marta, you just focused too much on the big size and didn't read the rest.
Also boob size, because people not only complained that they didn't get the gender that they wanted, they complained that they didn't get the proper sized parts that they wanted, and developers responded with tough shit.
Yes, and I like that attitude because, well, it would be fun if you were like start with character with some kind of predefined stats, and you can do something with those stats. You can be farmer, go be crafter of some kind, and you don't exactly need to be great at that.
It's funny because pretty much nobody would play a game like that, but I would want that, and like couple that with breeding, like, yeah, I'm not who I want to be, so let me breed a child and raise it up and go, okay, I can be that instead. And that would have its own problems and issues and stuff like that.
Uh,
Then
Well,
you would
idea was
remake the
nice.
child.
Idea was nice though, don't you think?
It,
You can't pick your own body parts when you're born.
it's like, it's a
Yeah.
nice idea, but everybody would whine too much and they would be like, oh, but my stats are only good for tanking and I don't feel like being a tank, or I'm too fat and I don't feel
well,
like
tough shit.
myself.
That's what you are in real life.
Well, yeah,
Real
but
life isn't as forgiving.
I would really like the idea, but I know that masses would just go, and that's exactly why World of Warcraft stays as easy as it does, because otherwise players would leave and it would have a far smaller population. It
Yeah,
doesn't
World
want
of
that.
Warcraft is really easy. You have only 3 faces to choose from.
Mm.
And
Well-
the thing is, I remember World of Warcraft right now. What they did basically, they took like you had class, you had all skills. For example, as druid, you had scaling skills, you had like DPSing, you had tanking, and now what they did, they took all those skills and cut them in 3 parts.
So it's like
Basically,
skill-based game, right?
if you go and choose a tanking like tree, you just get the tanking skills. You don't get other
Basically
skills.
removed all the classes and make 3 classes out of the game.
No. You at level 10 you choose the talent tree, and you can choose. You can switch that talent tree anytime you want. You can even switch talents anytime you want.
You can't mix and match. I think that's what Anarb was trying to say.
Now there is no consequences, and the game shows you what you should do, not what you can do, what you can experiment with, just what you should do, and that's the only good way.
Yeah, because the new generations of people are idiots.
Are total idiots. Zero reading skill, basically.
I don't think that they're any dumber than generation that came before. It's just that they're used to instant gratification. And if they're not granted something instantly, then they go, I'm not gonna put up with that. I'm gonna go to your competitor that does. So
Yeah, that's why they made MOBAs, basically. Roll a character, play it for 15 minutes to 30, then go back to your day. You have no soul.
Well, that's a personal uh, like preference, but I don't like MOBAs. I'm the guy who has played from the age starting the Korean games, so the grinding is usual for me, and I'm so used to it actually that I'm expecting the grind.
it's like I want innovation in MOBAs because I like Smite, but I can't say that I like any other MOBA because I don't like their viewpoint. I like controlling and being behind my character, but at the same time, Smite makes retarded decisions, and then you go, okay, maybe I should just go and play something else, and then there's absolutely nothing else in that category, and you go, okay, fuck the category, and go
Google
back.
Loca. Google Loca. There is a game that was
That's quite old game. It
Yeah.
was the first like third person mobile style game.
yeah, it was a really old game, but it didn't pick up, sadly.
Because there's
What's
like,
the game? What's the game?
Meta, but the case about MOBAs, they come from the strategy games.
well, yeah, but I don't like that. That's why I like
Oh, well, tough shit.
new innovative MOBAs. I like change, and I wish that there was variety. First person MOBA is also a nice thing. Like Evolve is a nice idea, except that you don't sell that, and some monsters are OP, and hence it feels kind of weird. But it's
Just player sucks.
it's
I think I'm sorry for interrupting. I think MOBA should be stayed MOBA for the sake of, the simple characters from League of Legends. If you go beyond that element, then you're basically like saying you're gonna play football on a soap stadium. If you know what I mean. It's like we're gonna play football on an ice skating, It's like changing the element in the environment just for the sake of, getting more ideas for certain people than gonna destroy the whole element that game was or this platform was made for,
but
which is 5v5.
that's exactly how
All MMOs.
how
basically.
thingy how the industry slowly grows. As in, RPGs are not what they used to. They're no longer a you control a team. It's now more about you. But if nobody ever did that, then that would have never changed. We would
No,
just be kind of stuck. So experimenting is a good thing if you can. And even if it
yeah, no,
doesn't
no,
work out, your competitors could be like, well, that was a novel idea and that was kind of crap, so let's try again.
Thing is, it's like mod games. If you played a mod game before, it's at least like Dragon Realms, where you are not you're not your character in the game does not see your UI. You are like role
yeah.
playing. You are doing the Dungeon and Dragons format in that game,
Yes, but
and
what I want to say is we are not playing RPG games, we are playing CPG games
sadly,
because
we
as
are
now
playing.
we are playing class play games because everyone plays classes, everyone plays like this thing, and
Well, if you really think some story to your character and everything like that, then it might be a role-playing game.
Because
Well,
the idea of a role playing game is varied character development, if anything, and branching storyline. Mostly.
consequences of your choices.
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Uh, and the problem is that people don't do consequences these days.
I
Everything
really.
is forgiving.
I honestly, I really miss consequences in games.
Yes.
Because. What was it? The first Fallout that had you be able to actually fail the quest completely or kill off your own whole little like bunker community by just saying the wrong thing to a wrong NPC. And that's just mostly not present. And even death has very little consequence. You don't come out with, well, now my hand is broken or now my leg is broken. You just go reload and try again. But at the same time, if you went back to that consequence based gameplay, would anyone realistically play it? And that's
I
the
would.
problem.
I would, and I played it, and I got into it by surprise. Like, I'm gonna bring another free-to-play MMOs because I'm not the
You are
only
cheap
game that
poster.
have this called Age of Wushu. The only game that does consequences is a PvP MMORPG
I
game
know
that
that.
it's a load of, let's say, load of headaches. This game, even for me, someone who enjoys consequences in the game, where player killing is allowed, and you will get player police will apprehend you. So I don't know, games that will enforce that on you, you will need to know your niche community, who will play it for you. And the Chinese apparently they love masochistic things. I don't know why. We kind of try and avoid it because we don't like pain in video games. We
the
like to have. Would you like to play a game? We want to respond. Yeah, that's why we play nowadays. Unfortunately.
The actual issue with the consequences in the game is really simple. It's something you can easily do in RPG game, but you cannot do it in MMOs because
Hmm.
MMO doesn't have end. So to think up endless branchings, it will get out of hand.
Just something that
There is a
leaves.
game for that. I'm sorry. There is a game for that.
Just something that leaves a mark would be enough. Like if your character could gain scars, if there was like a consequence to choosing a specific thing in the story, and because of it you would be left with one eye, or you would be left with a permanent different ability, that would be something. And I would probably look at that and think that's a really great
Yeah.
idea. I'm happy that somebody actually did it. But
Because imagine
Be
late
on
game,
a wheelchair.
like you meet a character and you see all that different things about him.
yeah,
And
and
that
then
wondering why doesn't he has like nothing like that would happen to me. And I would like to know that, so I'm going to talk with him.
yeah, it's like, hey dude, what did you do in your travels? How did you get that scar? Why is your haircut different? What happened? And then they would be like, well, I ventured on into the desert and I kind of passed out from dehydration about this specific bush and it started talking back at me, and that's just the idea of the scar. And that would add so much interest, but I do not know how many people would like that, because even with Black Desert Online, people,
No, Black Desert is solo game. We already agreed on that.
yeah, but people even bitch about the fact that people are uneven in health and mana pools because the leveling up is random. Imagine if somebody's gonna accidentally get a scar on their character. Oh no, the world is falling apart. I'm gonna quit this game and tell everybody how
No, no,
bad
no.
it is.
You know what would happen in these days? Go to shop, buy premium item. You can clean any scar you have on your character.
Oh god, no.
Oh god.
Don't bring the premium shop in this debacle. Oh god.
Yeah.
Thing is, you can bring this idea in MMOs, but make it, let's say, you will have a chance, but you will be penalized if you try to take another life. Like, I'm gonna go back to Elite Dangerous because that's the only game I've been playing for a whole year and a half. I have no idea why I bring it. I'm sorry. The game will force you to play with your basic character level 1. If you died on your epic level 80 battleship, for example. So they will give you two modes of going back to your last spawn area. One is you will have to pay an insurance to bring back your ship with all the upgrades you have done, with all your items and everything, or go back to that level 1 ship you have been playing with since you played the game. And if you run out of money, you will have to submit for bankruptcy, and you will have no money left in your account. You will go back to the first starter city you were in the game, and that's it. You will still have the same difficulty set on you. Like you're like in level 80 missions. You can take level 80 missions, but you still have a level 1 ship. So what the hell are you gonna do with it? You'll feel like you did a really huge mistake by not being careful with your level 80 character, for example. And that's how games with consequences should at least have something similar to that, by have some sort of insurance policy on yourself. We will fix your ship, we will fix your weapon or whatnot, but you will have to pay a little bit more money.
That idea is actually nice, but it won't be good for the future, because I know the game. There is one Japanese game that hasn't come to Western market that has basically, you have set amount of lives, and if you basically trigger a trap and blow yourself up, you die and completely, and you lose all your progress. You start from the beginning. This game
Shin Megami Tensei, right?
maybe, but basically no one actually cleared that game yet because of that. So it's nice, but it's so narrow market that actually are willing to take this kind of risks. Yes, losing your ship, you have some backup plan and so on. It makes you like careful, but pushing these consequences too high will make the easy mode players who have been made life so easy will never even touch this game. I can die in this game. Come on.
That's the question. How do you push out a game that's actually unique without doing all of the same stuff that's already been done, because that's what the market expects of you?
Yeah.
You
Like, for
can
example,
actually enforce.
Let's go back to the Black Desert for a moment. We played that with Marta for a while, and what I like in that game is the feeling of progressing your character. Like, if you run, your stamina slowly increases. You train that. But you know what they did? That requires effort from people. You know what? Let's let people run in circles. Just make function for them and let them do that.
Or put them in a prison if they did the PK, for example.
It's like
Because-
what I liked about it was the fact that just like RuneScape again, it had lots of little skills, and there was lots of things that you could specialize outside of specializing in battle. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's something that I missed actually. But at the same time, the end game is very group PvP focused. So you have to have a group. If you're solo, you're kind of gonna miss out on the world experience. It's very RNG driven to a point where it's the level of RNG that I don't like, where you could do something 2,000 times and there's never a higher cap. So you can be that guy that never gets your gear ever.
It wasn't that bad. More, well, the thing that annoyed me more is like, besides the group PvP at the end, you didn't have any group activities.
And it's just very PvP focused. Like, I can't just do what I did in RuneScape of, I'm gonna max everything to 99, guys. I'm gonna do my own thing. This is gonna be fun. You have to have that group, and you have to do that group PvP. Because that's the way that the game is. And after I realized that, I was like, actually, I don't really want to invest time into it anymore.
Marta, did you see the video about Albion Online that I posted?
No.
Okay, so I will send you, and I will show you something that the game shows that I would like to see in a game. I will post it to everyone here. Just let me grab it.
Well, good point about the Black Desert is that I never played it. Because I cannot.
I cannot play it. I can pay
Okay,
more money than
it's in the
that.
Hangout, so you can just watch it. I think it isn't like long, few minutes at least. It's 350.
Also, the point about there being lots of like skills and stuff, that's partly what I like about Final Fantasy, that every single crafting thing actually got their proper skill set. Like, they're treated like a class, but at the same time, unfortunately, it's not like a crafting game. Your end game is still battle focused, so it's not it once again is not like RuneScape, but at the same time I didn't expect it to be. But I do like that part of other things matter is there, and I wish that other things mattered more in MMOs in general.
I think actually in Final Fantasy come really close to it. You can actually play as a crafter and not level the combat classes if you really wish to. It keeps you a lot, but you can, I think, do it at least at some point.
Challenge, demanding a vast amount of
I don't
resources.
remember whether it was Albion Online or not that I was looking into, but there's a lot of games from that viewpoint that are coming out with going, you can specialize only in shoemaking now, guys. And I go, that's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna see how that's gonna come out.
Basically, the Albion Online, and that's why I posted it.
Yeah, because
And
it's entertaining, but a lot of these things there are in like early access or development and like closed development, and a lot of those projects unfortunately go the EverQuest next route of, look guys at all of the things that we're doing, and then they shut it down before people can even try it.
well, Marta, the video I posted is the final beta trailer. So now will be the last phase of beta.
Which is good. I hope they release the game at least in this last quarter. I want to give it a try.
I also want to give it a try. I want to at least like be a
think
casual woodcutter or something like that. I want to be something completely unusual, but not gonna invest major amount of time in it, unfortunately.
Oh, you have to. You have to invest at least in any MMO. You have to invest at least 100 hours to do something.
I
That's
don't
the-
find 100 hours to be a major amount of time invested. I invested 2,500 hours into Final Fantasy so far.
Good, which is good. At least you made like a resume out of it.
It's like 100 hours. I invest more than that into RPGs.
Now you play in Final Fantasy. That's kind of unexpected. But then again, it's something a player preference to manipulate your experience in the game. You want to be into role playing your character and make sure that you want to focus on the path, and Albion will give you this sort of feels in it. Then yeah, you can go ahead and do it. But if you're gonna do it from over again, you have to remove the grinding aspect, quote unquote. You have to remove the idea of grinding in this game.
You don't have to play a grindy game hardcore. I mean, RuneScape, if you wanted to max that out, that would have taken you years legitimately of hard playing. But I only got to like level 30 and I was happy with it. I was running around stealing other people's shit while they were PvPing and...
Well,
Wow.
basically that's what EVE Online is. I was like start playing that you have a shit ton of skills that you learn basically passively, like you have the key and you just put skills there and need to buy those skills. And basically I started mining and I was so happy just mining. I earned my first mining ship. It was just go there, mine that, go there, mine that. Then someone got there and killed me, but I had enough money to buy another ship.
Nice.
And I still had a chance, and at some point I said, let's explore those maps. And you have like exploration missions, detecting anomalies. Like a whole game it has so much depth and things you can do, so it's really fun. And if you have people with you, like it's really promoting getting into groups as well, because being alone is fun for the short term, but if you find like companion, like you can get a few mining ships, but you can get a big ship that will help you mine and will gather the mine for, the ore for you.
It's like, I'm so torn between should MMOs focus more on multiplayer or single player experience, because on one hand, you want to be encouraged to interact with people in the world, and you want to get to know people, because that's why you're playing a multiplayer game to begin with.
No.
But
It's isn't more about solo game, and it's about how game has to make you feel like a special snowflake while
Yeah.
letting you play with other people and letting other people have fun.
it's
You are like another peasant in this universe. You have to live your life with it. You're not special at all.
to me, it's more between should a game encourage me to interact with lots of people, because this is what I do like in games. After all, I do lead a guild and I think that that is required because multiplayer experience anyway. But at the same time, would I play it if it was super multiplayer? Because a lot of other games I enter with a very solo player mindset, and a lot of the times I spend alone, and when the game forces you to interact with others, you know, you can go, I'm not in a very interactive mood right now.
Hmm.
So
I think what I got from your idea is you want to have the tools to engage in both solo player and multiplayer within the game itself. So you don't have to force yourself to play one mode and be bored of it, right?
it's just like I couldn't advise an MMO of which way to go, because we all decided that if there's no solo player, that would be a problem, because a lot of us enter the game very solo. But at the same time, if nothing makes you interact, then that's not very MMO-like.
Hmm.
Like, you know how in EVE Online times people did parties just to level up? Like, that wouldn't fly anymore, but at the same time, it's kinda shame.
It's a mega server basically, and you will have to interact with people if you wanna progress in something. In Elite, I'm gonna back again to Elite because it's more reliable to this idea. I'm sorry. Elite, when you go to the main menu, you will be given 3 play mode options in the main menu. You will be given the solo mode, which you will be in the online servers, but you will be playing solo by yourself. You have the whole universe for yourself, but you're playing it solo. Nobody will kill you except NPCs, and that's your solo solitude, whatever you call it. Then you have the private group. So basically, like you make a group of a private server, and you invite people to your private server, and you can interact with them in this private server. Then you have the open server mode, which basically you will be with the whole players and the whole community in this game in one mega server. But they can't deal with a million player in one instance. They have to make this kind of gameplay instance. So maybe at maximum you'll find like maybe 50 or 60 ships in one single in one single instance in the game, because the game is very huge. You're talking about a 1-to-1 scale ratio of a planet to random, and if you have 60 people to play within this huge world, then the server will crash. At least
Would
I
be
haven't seen this before, but yeah.
would be
And
would be very interesting if it wasn't spacey themed. Like if somebody did that, but with you being a character and walking on foot around one planet. Like, hey guys, I am off on a very long road trip, and maybe I'll run into someone.
yeah, this happened before. Like this game is all about you can land on planets and do mining and surface prospecting and whatever. And you have to use as a moon buggy, you know, from your ship. You have to install it in your ship, and because the game encourages you to do whatever rules you want, there is no definite class in the game. Like you can be a pirate one day, then switch and be a miner later on. You have the tools there. The developers give you the tools, which is the universe and the mechanics and everything, and they give you like one bronze coin. They tell you go fuck yourself. We don't care. That's the whole game. Is it like this is the game is very difficult at start. The learning curve is flexible to your own style. You can be a miner for the rest of your life. You can make lots of money. You can be a trader. You can make your own trading scheme by killing other NPCs and other players, and they'll be like, "Why are you so greedy?" And you can make money from them, for example. Or you play solo and say, "I don't care about humanity." And this is what I found this game bringing a lot of players' own experience. Subreddits filled with player stories and lots of commentaries, like, and the game itself, the developers, they release every week a newsletter, and they will put players' stories in this newsletter. You know, like for instance, there was this player who was on his moon buggy, like he was like around 40,000 light years away from the solar system. 40,000 light years is about, let's say, 80 hours of gameplay. Just go that stretch of exploration in the game, because the game is very huge as a galaxy map. So this player just went like in a random planet. He went inside the huge canyon, looking at the atmosphere, taking screenshot and whatnot. Then he tried to recall his spaceship. And the thing with the recalling the spaceship, it's an AI, so you cannot jump it toward unless you got your moon buggy right underneath it, and it will launch. So the AI tried to land inside this canyon, and while it tried to do it, crashed on the way down. And the player stuck in this canyon, away from civilization, 40,000 light years away. So what he did, he sent submit to the forums and officials and his Reddit and everything, and told players that he's stuck. He cannot go back. If he go back, or if he exploded and he went back to the starting area, he will lose all the money from the exploration. And from there, he's like, guys, I'm stuck, I'm stranded, I can't do anything. And around like maybe 60 players, they came to him, and they just, hang out with him in local chat, did some voice chat and whatnot. And they called it day and they left and they kept him there for around like 2 weeks or something. Then he exploded by himself because he ran out of oxygen and fuel. So stories like that in an MMO, in a video game, it's kind of hard to come if you want to make it. If you don't have the tools that's given to you by the developer of the game. Because now all the experience I've seen lately are all materialistic games. You just have to farm 100 monster to get one item or whatnot, and that's it.
When did an Narba disconnect of Final Fantasy on purpose? Or is this connection breaking up?
No, it's okay. I was going to talk about usage history. If Online has series of books about Eve history. It's called Empires of Eve.
Yeah, even Elite Dangerous, they have novels also written. Amazingly, this games that doesn't encourage you to play a main story, and you create your own, which is kind of rare. I only seen it in this Eve Online and Elite Dangerous and maybe Warcraft. I don't know. I like stories. I like role playing in these games nowadays. I'm kind of enjoying it now. It's like a new refreshing experience for me now. Elite is providing me all these tools to explore and whatnot.
Rarely find a game where you can just focus on exploration, because normally games have a goal and you're supposed to move towards it.
Yeah, I think No Man's Sky, Elite Dangerous. I don't know. Sci-fi games tends to have more scale for you, so I'm not sure about other games if I can recommend. But for me, I would say Elite Dangerous and No Man's Sky once it's released.
It would be interesting to have an MMO that doesn't have levels. Because that wasn't an idea that I heard being thrown around earlier on, where everything's just kinda open.
Albion doesn't have levels. Eve
Yay!
It's
Online
called
doesn't have
skill
levels.
based. It's called skill based. What do you mean by levels? You need levels at least to progress in something. Skills, trees, and
Albion doesn't have levels. Albion has skills.
yeah, it's
Because
still called
If
levels.
you want to walk in better boots, walk in worse boots. If you walk enough in those boots, you may be able to wear better boots.
because
Of course.
normally your traditional MMO goes, this is the zone that you go to from level 1 to 10. This is the zone that you go to from 10 to 20. This is the zone where you arrive at 20 to 30. And that is very limiting, especially if you want to explore.
Hmm.
In
Yeah, you
Albion
can't
Online,
do
we have
that on
like
Elite.
a lot
You can't
of
do that.
those low level. It's basically, I think, automatically generated maps where you have a lot of those safe zones and just randomly generated. Like the deeper you go into the land, the more dangerous zones you will encounter.
Yeah, procedurally generated stuff. Yeah, that's kind of actually good in games. You don't need to have the same format over and over. There is no limit in certain games that will provide you the tools and they will say you here is our R&D method. Here go and join, which is basically what should Albion and No Man's Sky and Elite should focus on. Procedurally generated and created and crafted or improved by the player experience. That's the thing they should work on.
Because it was kind of amusing to see Guild Wars 2 attempt horizontal progression. But it would be far more interesting if you just explored and found skills and had to do certain feats to get certain stuff, and not necessarily just level up, level up, level up.
Yeah, like Skyrim, for example, they have horizontal progression.
With
Hmm.
with Skyrim's progression, though, the silly thing is that it's the opposite to Oblivion. In in ways that if you decide to be level 99 blacksmith, your enemies get tougher.
Oh, okay. So progression by the AI. Okay.
I mostly mean character progression in skills rather than levels.
Yeah, because even though there's levels in Skyrim, I think it's still gonna affect the player's skill in the end. It is kind of I don't know. It's a hit or miss because I kind of hate it in Elite Dangerous as well. Because I'm like max in my combat rank, for example. The game have like three ranks in the game. You have exploration rank, you have trading rank, and you have combat rank. What I found in this game that there is no limit for what level of mission you can get. The game will let you get a level 80 or max level mission if you want, but it's up to you to survive it if you will. And all the missions in Elite Dangerous are time based, so you're getting like 3 hours, maybe 2 days to finish this mission. So imagine the mental challenge you will have to do in these missions because you're gonna encounter max level pilots and whatnot who will kill you because they have custom crafting also in their own ships. I'm amazed by how elite are like, or like the company itself, that Frontier. I'm amazed how they approach their game mechanics. Like they give you a half baked game, and they said they will keep improving it for 10 years immediately. They didn't say we will be. I'm sorry if you missed anything. We will put it in the next patch. They didn't say this at all. They say here is our game. Here is our roadmap. These are the expansions you will be getting for the next 2 years. If you want to get them, that's cool. If you want to play the vanilla, that's also cool. And this is what we were doing every single patch. They will not listen to you at all. Imagine there's a developer that will not listen to you at all unless there is a bug in the game, which is in Elite Dangerous. There is a bug that I don't think they will fix it any soon, which is unlimited ammo. I'm like, yeah, maybe Elite is now doing a approach that I'm sure that it will run out anytime soon. But they are actually doing a good thing right now. They are letting players uh, make um, make an impact in the game universe, make an actual impact. I don't
Yes.
know how can I explain it to you, but it's like a community. You have some people being really good at things. Some people don't do anything, but are still, living stuff like that. I would say I'm a fan. I'm a fanboy. Excuse me. I'm a big fanboy now because of this miracle of a game right now. I think we need
The
games like
miracle of the
this.
game.
It's like developers that listen or don't listen are the curse and the blessing at the same time. Because if their idea of what the game should be is the wrong one, and they don't listen to anyone, it's not gonna be a good game.
At all, yeah, at all. I will give you an example. Guild Wars 2. It did good at the beginning. Then you felt like you have played this before.
I
You
was in there for such a long time, and
I enjoy Guild Wars 2 a lot till they started the expansion thing.
yeah,
Screw up.
the expansion pack completely killed it.
I thankfully didn't play the game because I felt it reminds me of another game, which is the Secret War. Right in the same year, they released the Secret War, and after like three months, they released Guild Wars 2. So you can think how many players have been removed from how many players have been active in Secret War, and then poof, they're all gone immediately. I cannot play with someone else at all.
It's like I liked how casual they were. I liked that they were not focusing on gear that much. I liked their PvP and how everybody was equal in it, because you could enter level 1 in PvP and you can just make your own build and stuff like that. Found that actually really nice, and then the expansion pack came and it was all like build diversities through the window. You are either expansion pack class or none at all, and let's not do actual patches anymore. And even before that, the developers would like promise a lot of things but not actually do them, which was upsetting.
Yeah, I don't know what the developer are trying to mimic or like improve. It's kind of sad. I mean, they should at least let the game go as it is, and only not add expansion. Like make it a content within the game. Like don't call it an expansion. You'll trigger some people.
It's alright that they did an expansion pack, it's not alright that all vanilla content was considered worthless, because now let's go free to play and now let's severely nerf all of the previous content to levels that you can't play anymore, so that you have to buy the expansion pack and generate us money.
So it's like how the expansion Realm Reborn, the Heaven's Sword, I think, Heaven's World in Final Fantasy 14. Is there like a huge difference before and after?
It's like, at least
Well-
in that one, you can play level 50 content without owning the expansion pack, and there will still be people
Well,
there.
it's more about like you still play vanilla content even if you have Heavensward stuff.
Yeah, and then Guild Wars 2, no. And sometimes if you're a purely vanilla player, there's now content that you can not access again, like fractals, because you don't have a fractal mastery, because the fractal mastery got locked behind an expansion pack, so that's content that you can no longer play, that you could play
And the
before.
other thing is, no one does the old content in Guild Wars still, because there is no reason to do that.
Yeah, they were like,
You won't
let's
find people to do dungeons or raids with.
let's take out absolutely every single possible reward for the vanilla content to force people to buy the expansion pack, and that's really sad.
I think the Final Fantasy expansion, The Realm Reborn, is actually a really other side of the Guild Wars 2, because Realm Reborn expansion pack was basically, we know we fucked up the first version, we're going to fix it, and that was this kind of expansion pack. You
But-
don't see much of those.
Wow.
It is the Final Fantasy is as much traditional as you can get. It's World of Warcraft with a twist, essentially, and the expansion packs mimic it, and that's fine because it's reliable. And
It is immersive in a way, right? It's like immersive, and that keeps you on the same elements that you've been doing over and over, but they give you a really good like face reveal. Like it's a new facelift for the whole element itself. I like the game, by the way. I like the core game.
to force you to go back to core areas. Like right now, I'm grinding for some weapon skins by doing low-level fates.
Wow.
But the game isn't very innovative, and it is very much vertical. So I could be like, hey guys, go and play this if you want reliable, because it is, and it does have its nice points, but if you're seeking something new in like lots of patches, you're not gonna find lots of new. You're gonna find lots of old that was refined to work.
I think for me, who's played a lot of MMOs, Final Fantasy is a really good game because it is all but refined.
Yeah, it's a very good example of a traditional style MMO. But at the same time, because it's traditional styled, it is what it is. It's a traditional styled MMO.
Yeah, that's the same cheeseburger you have eaten the whole 14 years ago. Don't expect something new.
Yeah, it's like going into a restaurant and ordering a hamburger. It's like a perfect hamburger, but it doesn't have any unique twist to it. Pretty much, it's just a hamburger. But
And what's bad about it?
if you want a hamburger, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, if you wanted the chef to be experimenting with paprika and new types of meats, and you want something new, then it's
Raccoon
not.
beef, for example.
Yeah, it's,
Raccoon meat.
Myrta, let me add one thing. I will go to restaurant and I will wish to have a perfect traditional hamburger. And I wish to have something new every week. This is the perfect MMO. What happens right now is that I go to shop, I either get half-assessed classic hamburger and something that doesn't even taste like hamburger, or I go to shop and I get a really unique something that I'm not really used to, but it might be something, but the classic thing is completely gone. So I would prefer this, that you have a really refined classic and you bring slowly something new.
that's
Is-
why I'm here, because it's not shit. If it was shit, I wouldn't be here, you know? It's like, it's super refined for an MMO. It's super well made, and it's very reliable, and the developers do try new things slowly. But it's not the new age wow moment where people are like, ah, the combat style is so unique, and we went away with the classes, and it's all horizontal, and there's no more levels, and all of this stuff that, you know, people wanting to do unique stuff do.
You're like doing it for the fandom, basically. Pretty graphics and good music. That's why you want to deliver at the end. Like, you have the elements, that's good, but you want them cool graphics, basically. Which is good. I mean, come on. Imagine you're gonna play Final Fantasy 14 in a mod system. I would. I think.
It's like, I'm excited to see what the industry is gonna bring, and my biggest fear would be that it's not gonna move anywhere, or that it's gonna die out.
I think the next thing the industry is move on is VRs, or if you want to say classes on your face. But
AR, I think they will make AR games more like MMO ARs, maybe. People will have to go out.
VR are actually driven by ideas of the certain novels and things, so they will try to get there.
I
The
do,
tr-
I do think that I will join the VR scene at some point, but it's not the time yet.
You want to get
I'll-
the VR that you actually can close your eyes, right?
I want to get the VR where at least I can be not having a screen on my head, and that wouldn't be dizzying me out, you know.
Maybe holographic. Maybe holographic. Like AR, MMO,
HoloLens.
your own-
HoloLens type of.
HoloLens.
I do know that one of the glasses, weird glasses that they're making, is literally just shining the whole image into your eyes. You know?
Google Glass.
I don't think that that's Google Glass. There was another people that were making, so that's interesting. It's
It
interesting how
might be
it's
the
gonna
HoloLens.
progress.
It might be the HoloLens. What you mean?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how it progresses, but I don't think that it's at a point where I would go, yeah, I should join this right now. I'm all like, no, I'll leave you to it.
Well,
You're gonna
with
figure it out.
HoloLens, I just want Pokemons.
All head Pokemons, huh?
You want your Pokemons to be running around your room and making backflips, eh?
And then Anarva's gonna be just sitting there going, this is just like being high.
Yeah.
I would be really excited to see things like they do in friggin' anime. Like even Sword Art Online without the whole thing of people being trapped. That's like spacey and not at all what would happen right now, but it's something that would be an amusing idea if that was possible.
What I'm worried about is that this kind of technology that reads the wavelength of the human brain
Yeah, while you're awake.
is not even way too far. There is actually achieved arm that moves on it, even brain wavelengths. But the problem is the actual cost. You cannot have enough money to buy this kind of technology anytime soon as a simple thing as gaming.
Well, yeah, not anytime soon, but it probably in our lifetime. Well, which is gonna be nice. We're gonna be like 60-year-olds going, yeah, this is super cool.
60 and still playing EverQuest. Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah, still playing video games because the age of the gamer keeps on increasing year by year because people that started playing in the 80s did not stop playing completely. Like they're still doing something. They're still
Well,
there.
The generation is still here, it doesn't really change though. Question is what the next generation think about us. Come on, you're playing still on the games on the screen.
It's like it's gonna be a generation of moms that get angry at their children for being bad at video games. You know?
Wow.
It's like, how can you fail at farming this much? The mommy needs that gear, so be better at farming.
Why you are bad at this? What have I told you? It's
Yeah.
like, it's like,
What have I
bad
taught
parenting.
you? Why are you so stupid? Stop being
Why are you so bad? I've given you your allowance for the expansion. I'm like, she's all do all my microtransaction.
And it's like, Mom, I don't want to play video games. And then Mom goes, no, no. Mommy and Daddy are gamers. You're gonna be gamer too.
Oh, the cringe.
Yeah. But
This
yeah.
is gonna happen one day. I'm afraid this is gonna happen one day. People will have their little boys and girls do farming for them the whole night.
I'm pretty
as
sure
a
that
ground.
there's already parents that do that.